Well, thank you all. My mind's sort of somewhere else today, but I'll just say two things. In the hearing that we had with Russ Vought, one of the things I questioned him about was a statement that he made, such an unusual statement, that he wanted to put the federal workforce into trauma. Those were his words. Not reduce spending or deal with the deficit. I want to put them into trauma so that they won't want to go to work because they are increasingly viewed as the villains. That's a very close paraphrase of what he said. And we wondered, and I asked him, do you want air traffic controllers to, be in trauma and not want to go to work? And he said, oh, of course not, Senator. But it wasn't just an expression of gleeful cruelty toward the federal employees. Now this bogus buyout thing has been put on the table, because if you take steps that make them all worried about their work and that they're going to get fired, and then you offer them some apple like you might get on Halloween that's probably got some razor blades in it, maybe they'll take it. But we just did a bill to try to bulk up the nation's air traffic controllers because we've been short of air traffic controllers, and now a Russ Vought strategy is to traumatize the federal workforce. That lands particularly hard with me this morning. Second thing, just one example, and all of us have been dealing with our own agencies, but I found this particularly kind of cruel. Head Start programs. Many of our Head Start programs were in Washington yesterday. They're here as part of an annual visit where they would come talk to us about the budget or whatever. My Head Start programs came in and talked to me. When the order came out, these are programs that receive federal funding. When the order came out, the order was so poorly written that they didn't know exactly what it meant. And so they did what they would naturally do. They called their federal program officer to ask questions. Phone calls not answered. They sent him emails not responded to. We've been aware that there's sort of an external gag order that has been imposed on these agencies by the Trump administration. You are not allowed to talk to the press. You are not allowed to talk to external stakeholders. I wasn't aware until I met with my Head Start folks yesterday that there's an internal gag order too, that they are not, many of these federal agencies that manage these programs are not even allowed to deal directly with those implementing services to family and kids and answer their questions. I have a program in Virginia that is on a 5-year contract that ends tomorrow. The 5-year contract ends tomorrow. Dozens and dozens of kids in a rural part of Virginia, they can't get an answer about an extension application that they have had pending for months. They can't get an answer. This is Russ Vought government. This is what we all saw on display in the hearing, and there's a reason why the Budget Committee is not in our Budget Committee hearing room having a markup on this nomination. And the reason is it's already out of the gate so abysmally unprofessional and abysmally cruel that they don't want to have an open discussion where committee members can state their piece and try to persuade their colleagues. What a glaring abdication of responsibility for a body that considers itself a great deliberative body. With that, I hand it over to Senator Van Hollen.